All right. This is your creation. My name is Starseed Bey. How's everyone doing today? It's been a while since I made a video. I've been real busy. So there's like a lot of videos I really want to make, but this one ended up popping up, and it's been quite a big deal lately. About real news and fake news, and how a lot of people are being shut down because it's labeled as fake news. What is fake news? How do we distinguish fake news? How do we distinguish what real news is? That's one of the processes that we have to really look at within real news and fake news is the sources. And an interesting fact for myself is I was watching Supergirl, right? The TV series Supergirl. And Supergirl, Superman, they're always seem to be part of these daily news, right? They're always a part of the news. Well, the interesting thing is that you can't report any news unless if you have sources, you have names, you have places, you got dates, you got times, who, what, when, where, and why. That whole concept. So that opens up a lot of doors on how you can validate what you're giving to the people, right? Validation, and presenting it in a real manner. It's great to look at theories, it's great to look at ideas, but that really is all it is theories and ideas. And I've said that many times in my videos, is that a lot of the stuff I talk about is labeled theories. There is, if you do research and sources, you're going to find that information to be being presented as a real life scenario. So that's pretty much what we're going to talk about today. I think it's really important that we really start looking into these real news, fake news matters and how to present what we bring out to the people. Because at the end of the day, if we're making videos, we're making them for you, the viewer, because you're interested or curious about what's going on in the world. So yeah. So anyways, let me go ahead and let you guys know who I am. So if this is your first time watching me, I am on Facebook and YouTube. So if you watch me on YouTube, definitely like the page, subscribe, share it out. I talk about many different things from what's going on in the world, spirituality, aliens, and all that type of stuff. So definitely subscribe and share the page out. I'm also on Facebook.com/RealTalkAdamStarseedBey. So definitely like the page, share it out. If you got any questions, concerns, that's the page to get a hold of me. And I am also on Patreon.com/AdamStarseedBey. Still work in progress. Eventually it will get to where it needs to be, but it's there for you guys if you are interested. So yeah, so real news and fake news. Man, this has been such a it's been such a roller coaster ride with this stuff. Hey, how's it going, John? Because if you look at what Trump is doing right now, he's trying to promote this wall, right? It's been a huge matter promoting the wall. He was promoting the wall during when he was trying to be elected as president. Well, now his presidency is reaching the end, and what's he doing? He's promoting the wall. It's beginning to be a huge ordeal right now as we speak. Was it February 5th? He's having a State of the Union talk as well. So they're going to be talking about shutting down the thing and just really pushing this wall matter. Why are we doing this? We have the one-dimensional viewpoint of what this wall is supposed to do. And it's all has to do with, as far as I know, it all has to do with the Mexican border. Why the Mexican border? Why is it such a huge mark in that area, right? Is it, there's so many things that connect in Mexico. Mexico is crazy. I don't know what it is. Mexico is just a crazy territory because it's used for trading deals. It's used for trading deals. It's used for Secret Service programs, FBI programs, and things of that nature. You know, you look it up, you can get the sources. They're there. You know, they do drug deals, they do weapon deals, they do overseas deals, all within that border of Mexico. You know, why is it such a big ordeal? You know, to me, it's real similar. The Mexican border is real similar to what goes on overseas within Jerusalem and the thing with ISIS and all that stuff. You know, it's kind of the same deal, the same trade, the same dirty job in both areas. You know, why is that? What creates that foundation over there? You know, it's weird. To me, it's weird. You know, and we constantly have people crossing the borders all the time. You know, illegally, whatever it may be. You know, but a lot of people don't realize, you know, is that within those kind of trading borderlines, because it's trading tool, is humans are involved within the trading. And of course, this is going to lead to a lot of things, human trafficking as well. I'm trying to really kind of watch my words, because people watch this kind of stuff. You know, they don't want you to really pinpoint certain things, but human trafficking is definitely a big thing, and it has to do with the Mexican borders around in that area. And whether they're coming over here illegally or not, there's something more to it. You know, there's something more to it. You know, people are selling these people. You got to look into underground bases, military practices, military tests, because those are real. Those are sources. You can go check it out. You know, military runs drills and tests. They have scientists always involved in these military tests. So they got to have humans to test this stuff out. And I've talked about this before. Same with the military. You know, the military will use their troops as testing, whatever it may be, a new adrenaline booster, better ways of controlling the mind. You know, that brings into what oh crap, I can't think of what it's called right now. Just manipulating the mind. MK Ultra, there we go. MK Ultra. You know, and with that kind of source for MK Ultra, you know, the originator, the source for that material is going to go back to Germany and back into the Nazi period, right? You know, MK Ultra and all of the kind of tests they did on the people that were there, right? You know, and it was a big ordeal. And at the end of the day, when it looked like America won, they brought all the Nazi scientists over and they hired them. And that's how we got NASA. And I'm sure that's how we got a lot of other secret military test areas as well. They hired a lot of people. You know, a lot of bad people. They have bloodstained hands. And that's just kind of how things work, because when you have to look at things from a military perspective and a way of running a business and running a kingdom. I've talked about the Archon system many times. I thought it was an ET race, but at the end of the day, an Archon system is way in how you control and create a kingdom, which is if you have the biggest military structure, you're unstoppable. You run the religious or the churches, you can control, manipulate the people. And of course, then you got money, and if you control the banks and all that stuff, that's it, man. I mean, you got a kingdom, you know, and that's kind of how the Roman Empire was created, along with you got the Vatican and all that stuff. You know, you got a huge kingdom that is being ran right now, you know, and it's not just in America. America's kind of like a small area to a bigger thing, because it's really run within the England area, right? We got Queen Elizabeth. That's like the only queen, as far as I know, that is distinguished as a queen. So there's a reason behind that. There is so many reasons behind everything. You just got to do the research and quit assuming. So many people assume stuff. Same with the Super Bowl. The same repeated thing over and over and over again. Oh man, what are they going to show for the Illuminati? You know, they're going to show all this stuff about the Illuminati and show it right in front of your face, and then that brings in all these people, and then people create thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of videos about the symbolisms of the Illuminati. What is that accomplishing? You know, who's the source? You know, what are we looking at? Well, it's programming, Adam. Yeah, it's a way of controlling the people. How are you controlling people? Through symbolisms. The only way you could do that is if they're using the MK Ultra tool, which they can use, and that's been proven. TV can be used as a programming tool. I've looked at it. I've looked at many different things, and this again is called sources. So look into how TV programming works, right? Because we know that the TV is run just like what you're watching now. There's little pixels, right? Little pixels that create a bigger picture. But so also overlayers. There's overlayers in everything. There's overlayers on your phone to make different kind of functions and things of that nature. So you can run an overlay. So basically, like say you got the black and white turnaround device, right? You know, it's going around and around and around in a circle, right? You know, like a disc. It's going around and around in a circle, creating that hypnotic feel. Well, it's been proven that you can do that. You can overlay that within the program, within the TV thing. You can make it really distinct, but enough for the viewer to be hypnotized in that manner. But it also has a lot to do with where you're at from your mindset. You know, if your whole will and intent is within that TV, you're glued to that TV, you're going to be opened up. Your energy, your body, your Ethernet body, your spiritual body, and you got to do research on that, gets in tune and connected to that frequency. You know, digital encoding, man, digital encoding is weird, but it's sending frequencies back into your mind. So it's feeding you those kind of programs, and it also will feed into your mindset of what you're focusing on. So if you're focusing on stuff that's Illuminati oriented, things of that nature, it's pre-programming your mind of like, oh hey, there was the third eye. Oh okay, I need to make note of that. Oh, there was the temple. Let me make note of that. Oh, and there was somebody wearing horns. Let me make note of that. Oh, there was somebody that was dressed oh crap, I can't think of who it is. Just some kind of goddess, whether it be a Greek goddess or whatever it is. There's always these key pinpoints that people look at. It's called pre-programming, and it controls the masses. You know, this is also has a lot to do with like protesters. The same thing. It pre-programs people, and YouTube is a good example. And I've told people many times, you know, don't believe everything you hear. You know, like I said, when you watch me, I'm here for resources, for research purposes. You know, don't look to me like I'm on a pedestal. Don't believe everything that I say. You know, do research and look into these matters. Walk beside me. Let's learn together. You know, I don't want you to walk in front of me. I do not want you to walk behind me. We need to walk together and learn how this stuff works and look at a mature manner on what this real news and fake news is, you know, and bring a conclusion and a solution to these matters instead of feeding into what the programmers are feeding you in the first place. It's called distractions, you know, and it says right in the Bible at the end of Revelations, all shall be deceived in the end. That has always stuck out to me, and that should stick out to you guys. All shall be deceived in the end. And people fail to realize that. Hey, how's it going, Michael? People don't really realize, you know, how many programs are being ran. and it includes religion too. And it sucks because, one of the things about when Christ walked this earth is that he revolutionized what it meant to have a personal relationship with the Creator or with God, right? That heavenly essence up above. Christ taught you how to go within yourself and have a strong foundation with God, with your Creator. That's what he brought to the world. And he was also in that world at that time where churches were big and books, right? They had religious books, right? And they all had these pre-programmed things. Churches worship books more than they worship and listen to Christ and listen to what the Creator is. And it's a proven fact. No matter how many times I talk to a perceived Christian or Catholic or Mormon, whoever it is, they always look at the book or the Bible as their God, and they don't even realize it. They don't even realize it. I said something interesting on True Seekers School of the Mystics, is that people don't really realize that when Christ walked the earth, that there was no Bible. There was no Bible that I'm aware of. You look through the scriptures during Christ's time, he did not ever look at a book, right? At a book. He did talk about, was it prophecy? He talked about prophecy, but remember, what is prophecy? Prophecy is those that have a prophetic word, or just have that heartfelt knowingness or awareness. Hey, I need to write this down. It was a journal. That's what the Bible is a journal from all these people, from all these experiences. It's a journal. And that's what these people wrote, was a journal of, hey, my heart is telling me I need to write this down. I don't know why, but it's going to benefit somebody later in the future. And that's what we have to look at. And that's what Christ brought to the world. Christ was teaching people to stop going to the churches. Stop listening to people. Stop listening to people. You have to create a personal relationship with the Father, with the I Am within you. That is where everything happens. It's great to fellowship with others. And, I'll get to on how churches should be. But at the end of the day, the churches that were ran back in Christ's time are still ran the same way today. Is that the Bible is their God, and the Pope or the pastor or whoever it may be, that is your Godhead within that church. And it goes much deeper. I don't want to talk about it right now, but it's very symbolic and pre-programmed stuff. It really is. And that's where you just have to be smart. You got to have knowledge and wisdom. You got to question what you're doing. You got to question, why are you going to the church? What are you there to learn? Are you there just to be a sheep and just go, oh, I need some friends, I need to fit in? That's not going to get you anywhere. You want to be in the mindset of learning and growing, learning why people do what they do. Be separate in the masses, because there's a reason why it's called masses, because people follow. They don't have no self, what would that word be? Self-knowingness or a self-willpower to stand up in their truth, or what they find, what they discover in life. It's hard to help people along that, because once you're a follower and you really don't have enough confidence within yourself to learn and grow and look outside the box, you kind of just get stuck. You try to fit in. I've been there many times. I want to have friends that I can relate with and grow with spiritually and friendship wise, but it doesn't happen that way because of the following aspect, is that people want to fit in, even if it's something that's stupid. Like I said, a lot of people love to talk about negativity. A lot of people love to talk about gossiping about others. That's a product of fitting in. And you know, once you get a solution, once you become mature in your mindset, you know, a lot of people who are the gossipers are going to look at you and be like, oh, who does he think he is? You know, why does he think that way? You know, they question when you begin to grow and begin to be confident within yourself. People begin to question, well, he just thinks he's a goody two shoe and stuff like that. I've experienced that, you know, and it's just how you handle yourself, and you're more of a target as well. Be like, all right, we need to find a weakness within that. We need to be able to break Adam's will. We need to be able to break his confidence within himself. The product of chain of command falls into place as well, and that chain of command goes in so many ways, from church, from religion to politics, whatever it is. It is that kind of process because they don't want you to grow and build. The kingdom that we have right now, right, which is labeled what? Satan's domain, right? The adversary's domain. Satan translates to the adversary. So that's the adversary of the world, right? The Sodom and Gomorrah, the Babylon, right? The land of Babel, right? Babel, state of confusion. You know, we live in a world of a state of confusion. And it gets deep so many ways, man. There's so many things you can talk about. But when it comes to the product of real news and fake news, you have to generate the sources to get that kind of acknowledgement of what you're talking about is true. You know, and honestly, if you do your research, you get the sources, you get the names and dates and things of that nature, the Secret Service will come and get you. And they'll either threaten you to say, hey, you need to quit talking about this or else. And that's when you know you're hitting something. But that's where we have to strategize. We got to quit trying to break through a wall, right? And that's what I was talking about earlier. We got to quit trying to break through a wall that is already structurally built. It's a pretty strong structure. On how the United States is built, but it goes so much deeper than that. Like I said, it's connected to England. England runs the majority of the world. Look it up. Do research. It's there. Also, the trading, Mexican border. A lot of trading going on there. Jerusalem, all that Middle East stuff. You know, there's a lot of trading going on there. There's a lot of secret stuff that goes on over there. You got to do research. You can discover the sources within those things. But of course, you bring up the real sources, they're going to shut you up. So what do we do to be able to present news without it being fake news? Is we have to come together. We have to be mature-minded, and we have to look past Satan's domain, the adversary's domain. We have to create our own empire. And it's not an easy one. You know. But to create an empire, we have to look past many of the beliefs that people have, right? You know, so many people have so many beliefs and faiths. That was actually what I was going to talk about. And then I was watching Project Camelot video came on, and my heart just told me I need to talk about this stuff. So next video, I'll be talking about, you know, on what it means to be a Christian, right? And things of that nature, right? So many people have this perception that you have to title yourself, that you are a man or woman of God or of the Heavenly Father. You know, that we have to have some kind of title. You know, being a Christian, you take away the "in" at the end, you got Christ, right? So you'd be a follower of Christ's teachings, right? And that makes sense. But if we're following Christ's teachings, well, so many other religions also follow Christ's teachings. So why aren't they called Christians, right? So we have to look at that aspect. We have to get out of the dividing tools that they've laid out for ourselves. There's so many dividing tools, you know, and it comes down to this. And this is where something you got to do research on. The Freemasons will tell you that if you're coming to go and learn about Freemasonry, it's because you have chaos in your life. You balance out your chaotic state of life. And all they ask is say, hey, you got to believe in a higher power, and that's it. Believe in a higher power. And it gets real deep on so many levels, right? You know, that again brings it to Lucifer. What is Lucifer? The light bringer. Bringing light into the world. Bringing that self-awareness into your life. Oh no, Adam, Lucifer is an actual entity. Could be. But just look at the symbolisms of it. It's a light barrier. You're bringing the truth of the heavens into the light. Into the light. What am I doing? I'm bringing out this revelation. This could be a revelation for you of what we can do to present real news, and to present how Satan's domain is ran, on how the politics of real news is ran, right? You know, and Trump is a good example. I mean, there's so many things that this Trump character has done for the presidency of controlling the people and controlling the world, right? You know, at the end of the day, is it all staged? You know, I mean, based upon the facts of past presidencies, it's the same thing. It's the same elements. You know, they're going to push their agenda. And when the election thing starts going again, what is it? I think we get a new president in 2020, I think. So it's going to be the same politics. Well, I'm going to do this. Well, I'm going to do that. Of course, Trump, he'll keep pushing the wall and things like that. So there's just, it's just a repeated cycle over and over again. I've told people before about the government shutdown, is that always in January, there's always either they're going to try and shut it down the government, or they do shut down the government. And at the end, what is January? For any kind of business structure, that is the end of the business year. So what do businesses look into in January? Is cutting costs. Cutting costs. No, Adam, the government is a different structure. No, it's still cutting costs. You have to cut costs. Even the government has to run under the same regulations of the tax brackets. So it has to be the same way. If people, you know, people in the government, they don't get paid, but they still have to work. If they don't work, they get fired, right? So they're just like, oh, okay. So then they'll just pawn the job onto another person and make that person do 2 jobs until they hire another person, right? Oh no, Adam, they can't do that. It takes them forever. And I actually have people message me this. It takes them forever to get new people to run in the government. It's true, but they got other people, so they just throw it on somebody else's shoulders, and they make them the scapegoat. Oh, he couldn't get the job done, so it's his fault, right? Blame the person. It's the blame game. That's what I said about the chain of command. It's the same element. You got to look at these structures and how they work and how they're utilized. This thing is big. A person on YouTube or any kind of radio talk station, I don't know if Michael Basham is still on here or not, but you know, he's on every single element, right? And we can bring this kind of material to you guys, but it doesn't do the world any good, because we're just doing an individual viewpoint, an individual sometimes opinion. I hate that word opinion. I really dislike that word opinion, because that really throws people off. Oh, well, that's just your opinion. No, we got to look at everything on the table and look at our different viewpoints, our different beliefs, our different structures, and look past that so we can learn to work together. That's why the kingdom, Satan's domain, is ran so good because they program you into the way of dividing of people, dividing of the church and state, right? Dividing of the church and state. Look at it this way: dividing of the soul and the state. The soul's state of being. They're dividing you from your true essence, which is the soul, your true state of being. You never thought about that, did you? You know, they're trying to keep you away, but they switch soul into church to let you think that religion is separate from the world. But in all reality, that's how you run an archon system, is you run the churches, you run religion. The Bible, whatever book that the church uses, is the God within the churches. Proven facts. And that's something that we can't deny. So, it's crazy, man. But that's what we have to look at. This is the only way on how we can move forward, is to create our own archon system, right? And that's exactly what this kingdom, the Satan's kingdom, doesn't want you to do, is create a new kingdom. But we have to look past beliefs and religion. If somebody is a Mormon, but they want that to help change the world, let's change the world. Are we going to agree with what that religion is? It doesn't matter, because you got to set it aside to be able to grow and mature with people. Maturity is key, and that's what I always talk about in these videos. Maturity is key. We got to be able to accept people for who they are. And if that person has beliefs and all that stuff, you know, I got my own faith in things as well, right? But sometimes we got to set that aside to be able to grow and mature with people. Diversity is key. Diversity is life. But we have to learn and grow together to create a new kingdom of change. And we have to bring people together. It's great to have like-minded people, right, that we can relate with, but we have to bring things together. You know, I brought this in before. You know, if there's a gay person or a lesbian person, it's a person. That's their lifestyle they choose. But if they're willing to help change the world, and they're going to put some of their beliefs or lifestyle, you know, on the sidelines, right, to help change the world, awesome. Let's begin to grow and build together. That's what we have to look at to change the world. You know, this whole fighting of what's real news, what's fake news, you know, exposing, the big word exposing all these people, isn't going to do anything. Because why? Because the archon system, the Roman Empire, you can look that up, the Roman Empire is still running today. It's you're not going to be able to change anything unless you create your own empire. I was actually going somewhere with that, but I forgot. But we have to create our own. That's it. We have to create our own. Making a YouTube video is not going to generate anything. And the more you talk about Satan's domain, Super Bowl, a good example, about all the Illuminati symbols and things of that nature, you're giving them more attention. We have to just stop giving them attention. Create solutions for change. All right, they show this stuff at the Super Bowl. They show this Illuminati stuff. Okay, great. Okay, what's the solution that we can do to help people grow, right? To help people grow in life. That's the key thing. Is about the soul. Is about the spirit. That is what life is. It's the spirit. It's the soul. You know, you go into people who are atheists, right? They don't believe in the soul or the spirit. They go by science. But they seem to fail to realize that science has proven that there is a spirit, that there is a soul. There's some kind of energy that leaves the body when the heart stops. So, and that's a proven fact. So there is a soul, there's an essence, a presence. And you go into other people who do ghost adventures and ghost hunts and things of that nature. And they use night vision, but what's it like? heat detection, and then there's this newer one where it basically breaks through the fourth dimension, where you can basically see anything. So you'll see these different kind of beings or energy sources that are happening around us. So there's a spiritual presence that surrounds us, and that's my motto: life is more spiritual than it is physical. It is. This is the garden of delight. So many eye candies, so many precious things that we think run our life and control our lives. Same with the body, right? You can see someone that looks real good on the outside, but inside they have STDs and pus and all that stuff inside their body, right? But no, you just see the garden of delight in front of your eyes. You're like, ooh, that looks so pretty, so pretty. So we have to change our mindset, right? Change our mindset, right? The dividing of the church and state. It's the dividing of the soul and state. So we have to bring the soul back into this. We have to bring Christ's teachings back. And what did he say? We have to create a personal relationship with God, with the Father. And so many people, and that's what I'm talking about in the next video, is that we have to realize that Christ was that foundation. Christ was that foundation that he gave us to be able to have a personal relationship with the Father, right? The church will twist that around, and like I said, you got to do your research. Research is key. But it's not that you're putting your faith in Christ, it's that you're walking like Christ. You're becoming Christ-like. You're having that personal relationship with the Father within you, right? Christ can be that guiding tool. Christ is my foundation. I've had a personal experience with that Christ energy. Christ is that guiding light. He is that second voice for me of like, hey, Adam, you need to go look at this. Hey, Adam, you need to be cautious or concerned about this matter. Things of that nature. It's that Christ energy. It's an unexplained feeling, but it's there. It's there. And very few people have that personal encounter. So those who are seeking truth, who are seeking to have a personal relationship with God, they feel they have to go to church, and then they look into the Bible, which is the God of the church. So they're trying to find God in the scriptures. They're trying to find and learn what it means to have a personal relationship with God and with Christ. But the churches, there's churches now, they're getting out there, but the churches don't teach you the power of prayer, the power of surrender, and the churches definitely, for the most part, the mass ones, don't teach you about meditation. Meditation is key within your life. The benefits of meditation. And you got to be mature-minded. Don't listen to what other people say. Like I said, don't listen to what I say. Research. Look at all the things that I've talked about and research into these matters. Meditation is such a key element. That's what Christ taught me. My personal relationship has always been a personal journey with Christ. Hey, you need to go look into meditation. I'll never forget when I was watching Dragon Ball Z. That's really kind of, and it's funny, that's how the Spirit works, is that the Spirit will bring you these kind of things that will feed your mind and your spirit. Be like, all right, Adam needs to wake up. He needs to look back into the spiritual self. What can we do to waken Adam so he can get back on a spiritual path? Okay, well, this anime called Dragon Ball Z. This has a lot to do with Kai and energy, and learn about synergy, drawing in the energy from other beings around you and things of that nature. All right, let's have Adam check this out. And these key elements are going to wake him up and have him look into meditation. And that's what I did. I looked into meditation. When did it premiere? 95, I think it was, in US. Yeah, I think it was 95. So I began to look into meditation and had some really interesting experiences with meditation. But during the time of the internet, which was the dial-up connection, the do, and then you hope you connect, there wasn't much on the internet about meditation. You have to go to a library to learn about it. But it had a lot to do with a religion aspect of like the Buddhas and things of that nature, right? And so on and so forth. So it was a whole new realm. You know, I'm so grateful how the world has turned out the way it is in terms of technology. Technology is power, man. I mean, anything, you can look up anything, you can learn anything for free. You learn anything for free, for the most part, on the internet. And that's how we can join together, and that's what we have to do. To create a kingdom, we have to build in this way. We may not be physically with each other, but that's not going to stop us from creating a new kingdom of change, right? You know, one of the key things back in 2010, I'm not getting off subject here, but in 2010, you know, I went into the learning again of meditation, of the third eye, of the chakras, and then of course it always seems to turn into new age stuff, but in actuality the third eye and the chakras and all that stuff was Christ's teachings, you know, and they're kind of sprinkled throughout the Bible, right? You know, going up to the mountaintop, you know, the Moses and them, they always talked about going to the mountain, right? So physically we think, oh, they're going to the mountain, but it's mentally they're going to your feet are the roots, you're going to the mountain. So you're in meditation, you're going up the ladder, Jacob's ladder, going up the ladder into the mountain, which is what is the head. And what's the head connected to? The third eye. That is the journey to the mountain, to have a personal talk and walk with the Creator. You know, and you just have to put these things together. You got to have the mindset that it's a self-discovery journey, the I am discovery. You know, you think third eye, boom, you think new age, you think deception, and then the Illuminati and all that stuff. You know, they're keeping you from having a personal relationship with the Creator, right? This is the mountaintop. The mountaintop. The Egyptians talked about the mountaintop. The Egyptians talked about the third eye. They broke down how the brain structure works as well. It's research. You got to look at everything as a whole. It's all the pieces of the puzzles together. And that's what we have to do with news. If you don't have sources, don't be talking about it. It's not going to get you anywhere. You have sources, you talk about it, they're going to shut you up. So it's a fine line. It's a fine line. But at the end of the day, if you want to grow and mature in life, you have to grow spiritually. Period. You have to. Life is spiritual. It's no ands, ifs, or buts. You know, that's why the Freemasons use spirituality. Any kind of kingdom structure uses what? Spirituality. They use rituals. You know, sacrifices was back in the day, right? Rituals is a thing that uses spiritual connections, whether it be of a demonic nature or of an angelic nature, right? Those are the labels that they use. Demonic or angelic. You have to use some kind of ritual. What is a meditation? It is some kind of ritual. So you have to look at all these things, and we have to be mature-minded in this. You know, I don't play around with this stuff. You know, I want to help you guys out, but you all are on your own journey of self-discovery. But the key thing is that sometimes we have to put our personal beliefs or faiths aside to learn more. You should be learning and growing daily. Always. You should always be looking into new things all the time. I am constantly learning about new things and learn on new ways to present this stuff out to you, because this is what I'm all about. You know, and sometime in the future I plan to make some kind of school. I got a long ways to go, so I gotta get to working. But you know, that's where we have to create business partners within the online community, right? You know, and I do feel that we're separated, and we live in these certain locations for a reason, right? You know, I live in Wyoming. You know, sometimes I want to leave. I'm like, man, it'd be so nice to be able to go move to another area where there's more like-minded people. But in some ways, you know, that my heart tells me that's foolish. You have a reason to stay here. You know, if I'm the only person here, and you know, that talks about spirituality and new ways of looking into life. If I'm not here, how are these people going to learn? How's the state of Wyoming going to learn, right? You know, there can be a lot more things that are waiting for me that I'm unaware of, but my heart tells me that I need to stay here, so I need to see how it unfolds. And it's just, we have to look at it as a whole, you know, and that kind of just ties in everything together. So as a whole, we have to come together. We have to quit dividing ourselves. We have to quit trying to bring down a kingdom that is structured, very well structured. So the only way to bring a kingdom down is to build a new kingdom. Or in the TV way of talking about things is alternative, or what is that word? Competition. There we go. Competition. That was the word I was looking for. We have to create competition for Satan's domain. And the only way we can bring competition is to create a roster or build our own empire. And the only way we can do that is to eliminate diversity and come together. You know, you can still have your own faiths and your own beliefs, right? You know, that's what you do in your own time. But when we need to get to work, we need to come together. We need to build. We need to grow. Man, humanity has a long ways to go from there, but you know, we can start today, and we continue to learn and grow. I'm here waiting for you guys. You know, I'm not well known, right? I'm not well known. I'm trying to get myself out there, but I'm here. I'm a leader. I'm ready to help us create a new empire, right? I'm here for you guys, you know, and someday in the future, things will begin to evolve. You'll begin to see more and more leaders talking about the same stuff I am. And eventually us leaders will unite with followers. I mean, you're going to have followers. I mean, regardless, you know, people watch us and they relate, right? So you're going to have followers, and you're going to bring those followers with you to walk beside you, right? Because I don't want to be known as oh, the great Adam, right? You know, walk beside me, so then we can learn and grow and create a new empire. I have a lot of stuff in here, and I'm waiting for it to be presented out here. But like I said, you know, I'm waiting on you guys. So if you guys are interested in trying to create solutions to these matters, definitely get a hold of me. You know, my heart's out there for you guys, and the only way we can build is to quit giving the attention to Satan's domain and we have to present and create attention to a new kingdom, creating a new kingdom in the Bible's way of things, right? The way of thinking is to create the New Jerusalem, right? The New Jerusalem is supposed to come down. Well, we have to be those that are willing to create the New Jerusalem. I mean, a lot of that's where religion teaches you that you have to wait for the Savior. Well, at the end of the day, you can end up being that Savior for the world. You know, you make a difference. You matter. You have a reason that you're born here. It's not just to be born, go to school, work a 9-to-5 job, or whatever kind of job place you work at. That's not the way of life. The way of life is learning on how to handle life, but bring spirituality back into it begin to be reconnected to your soul, and then to help others better their lives. I'm all about creating the best version of you, discovering the best version of you, right? You know, I've been down that long, hard road where, you know, I thought everybody was against me and I had no friends and things of that nature. So, you know, that was the worst of self. And then I began to discover the best of self, right? And Christ was my foundation, you know, and Christ can be your foundation. So anyways, getting off topic, like there's so many things I need to talk about in videos, but at the end of the day, we have to look at solutions. We have to quit being mind controlled, MK Ultra controlled by the elite or the Satan's domain, or what is labeled real news. It's called real news because it has sources. So whether it be CNN or Fox News, they have their names, they have their times, their dates. So to them, it looks like real sources, right? So you have to look at that. When you're presenting out things, you have to have sources. Without sources, they're just theories. That's why the majority of my videos, I'll say they are labeled as theories. But there's enough facts out there that it can be labeled as real facts at the end of the day. So pay attention to that. So yeah, so at the end of the day, we have to be smart. We have to be mature when we're presenting this stuff. It's not about the views. I mean, it would be great if I had thousands and thousands of views, right? Because I'd be out there. But I'm not going to create a video of shock value to get views. I'm not. That's not me. You know, I would be lying to the people. You know, people are feeding into Satan's domain. You know, and so many people are making Super Bowl videos about the Illuminati stuff. And man, they're getting 100,000 views, 500,000 views, you know. That's just creating more of their agenda to control the masses. So you gotta think, right? So yeah, if you want to build a new kingdom, we have to create that within ourselves. You know, we have to set diversity aside, accept diversity, but we have to work together. We have to work together. Somehow, we have to work together. So, I'll leave it at that. So, love yourself. Keep shining bright. Thank you guys for joining me. It's nice meeting you, Z. I gotta go. So love yourself. Keep shining bright. Be that change you're looking for. Learn on how to find ways to work with each other. It's great to have like-minded people, but we have to learn on how to work with all mind-like people. You know, it doesn't matter what kind of religion they may be into or lifestyle. Granted, as long as it's of loving nature and not of harmful nature. Now, if it's of harmful nature, and that's the key thing, if it's of harmful nature, no, I don't want them walking beside me at all, right? But if you're of loving nature, kind, you want to be able to grow and build with creation and life, then yes, that's the kind of people that we need to grow together. So yeah, so that's a whole other topic as well. So yeah, so love yourself, keep shining bright, grow mature in life. Discovery is key within yourself and outside self. So yeah, so I'll talk to y'all later.